Hi guys, today we're going to talk about urethral vector of the leader. It's also a very small percentage in the tribe, but a little bit more than olfactory, if you heard me talking about olfactory. And our main difference between humans and animals, it was that we started to kill more than we needed. Our dermal vector in us started to make sure that we're gonna have resources for tomorrow, enough food. So it started to kill more. And urethral vector, the vector of the leader, that person, it was the one who was responsible to distribute the resources among the tribe. He's the only one who, now if you take personality of each person in the tribe, every vector, all 7 vectors, they all have those emotions of jealousy and emotions of envy. Everyone has those. And if you give anal vector to distribute the resources, that's, you remember that vector who wants to be everything fair, everybody gets 50, he gets 50, he would give everybody, whoever was hunting, he would get meat, who was not, doesn't get, it would be a mess because fairness in this case scenario is not going to work. I'm going to explain it right now. Dermal, on the other hand, if you let dermal to do that, first, best piece of meat he would take for him and his family, then for his female wife or whoever it is, and then the rest would be for his friends and other family members, and whatever left is going to distribute them on everybody else. So he wouldn't survive as a leader of the tribe for too long. All these dermal vector kings in mid-centuries, that's most of the reasons they've been executed, killed, and all that, because of that two of these main emotions of jealousy and envy. Obviously there is other emotions, but we'll talk about them in another video. Those are the main ones that differentiate urethral from all that matrix of other 7 vectors. Urethral vector, that's the only person who doesn't have those emotions. He's gonna distribute all the food and all the resources to the needs. Everybody who's lacking the most gets whatever they need. If somebody has 3 kids, gets 3 pieces of meat. Somebody has 5, gets 5. Anal vector would give them fairly as his family, doesn't care. Dermal, I don't know if anything would be left over for those families after he would start to do that. So urethral, that was one of the reasons that we needed that person, so we're not gonna kill each other, because food was our main resource for survival. Now, the same thing when we were fighting at war and taking all the resources from the other tribe, he would do it also fairly, like Genghis Khan and all this Alexander the Great, and there is more of these people who was urethral vector, and what they did, they gave a third for their army, third for the officers and top, you can say, management, and third he kept for the kingdom, you can say. That was Genghis Khan. I mean, everybody was differently, but they didn't take everything for themselves. That was the main. They didn't take the best piece of meat for them. They first shared, first they gave it to other people. That was, now in a time of war, your ritual vector is the one who takes its tribe to conquer and take over other landscape, other territories, very territorial. He needs to take over. He was the one who was leading the tribe and then the army. Now, in time of peace, that person, your ritual, has, if you remember me talking about dermal and anal, has more testosterone than dermal. Dermal, its testosterone is balanced. Sexuality is balanced, is not crazy as anal. Anal, because its testosterone is more higher than dermal, all sexual crimes, 99.9% sexual committed crimes, it's by anal. Sometimes it's by dermal, but in some cases by a very small percentage. I mean, it's like less than one. Because dermal, they could be thief, they could harm somebody the other way, but not sexual committed crimes. For example, dermal, if it goes into fight, it could stab someone, that's dermal. Anal, it could choke, you would hang, that's anal. Sphincters, you remember, all everything that connects to sphincters, that's always anal vector. And you can check my video, you understand what I'm talking about. First sphincters was our fist to hold the stone axe. Now urethral has even more testosterone than anal, but because it doesn't have this unity at himself, is not the person who wants to take the profit and benefits for himself, he wants it for the tribe. He's like a father of the tribe. All the kids that he see, he treat them same way, like its own kids. So every person in the tribe he treats like his own, its own people. I mean, he's kind of very fair with everybody because his testosterone is the highest. Now, it doesn't have jealousy, it doesn't have envy, it doesn't have those emotions, it doesn't commit those crimes as anal. The only crime urethral could commit, if he has psychosexual delay, abused in the childhood, it could become gang member, mostly if it's urethral, gang leader. And then crimes, whatever comes with that, but never ever could be like a serial killer or anything like that. Never. Now, urethral, because its testosterone is highest, what it's doing is making sure that every woman in the tribe that lost her husband or hard for her to get pregnant, by the way, urethral vector semen, it's always making woman pregnant, even if she has problems, like 99.9% she will get, unless it's dermal visual who they were not getting pregnant. You remember me talking about dermal visual, their role was to adopt those children and take care of other people in the tribe as a, so they they could not reproduce. They're non-reproductive. Everybody else, if they have the issues, urethral could take care of this problem. So we're not gonna die out. So our tribe will survive. It was making sure that every woman in the tribe can get a birth, can get a child. Neither she has a husband died or sick or she lost. She couldn't. She's not a prettiest one. She cannot find one. She has some issues, physical. It was a lot of danger. Maybe tiger bite her, and nobody wants to get marry her. Eureka was doing this role for everybody. That was its role. Eureka child could even seduce its teacher in high school. It's very sexually, very in young age he becomes already, he feels that he's ready to be a man. They start very early usually, urethral children. And in business, if you put urethral vector, that's obviously vector of the leader, and it's going to be very hard to manage that person. He needs to be like owner of the business or general manager. He can lead the company, but if sometimes management requires, the biggest problem in management in businesses, it's system that requires to do every day same routine. It's kind of same thing you have to do every single day. And what is system? Everybody's talking about system, business. System is just numbers. The more numbers you get in your business, the more systemized your business. Like you know exactly how many people walked in, walked out, called during these hours, peak hours. I mean, the more information you have, the more you can systemize your business. Very simple. If you play basketball and nobody looks at the scores, you don't have score table. There is no scores. Imagine what kind of game it would be. I mean, who's gonna play this game without scores? So you need this in the business, very important. Now, anal vector, you remember me talking about that person that accumulates everything, is also very analytical, and probably is going to fit the best for the management position, because he could be detail oriented, he's perfectionist, he wants to do it perfectly, he needs his time, he do it slowly but surely. And urethral is going to be hard for him to do the same task. He needs to open new business and new, very similar to dermal. That's what happened with dermal. Dermal vector opens up business because main urethral, as I said, it's very few percent of the people. It's probably 2 or less than 5. But dermal, it's more than 24% of the population, and every time somebody opens up a business, or it's dermal vector, sometimes rarely urethral, or dermal anal with dermal dominant, but it has to have the dermal vector, it has to have the desire to get the resources to start something, competition. It's all dermal, but it's very hard for him to manage the company. That's the biggest mistake that I see in companies, that person who opens up a company, he also managing this company, and that's why it stays as a small business. There is no way a person with dermal vector would be a great manager. I mean, very rarely happens, very few people I know, but it's very hard for dermal to do all this routine, be consistent, accumulate all this energy, numbers, and work with that. It's Anal personality. That's his personality. He can do that because that's the type of people we need in the tribe to accumulate knowledge, to be doctors. Somebody has to do. Who on earth can do operation, surgery, brain surgery for 2 days in a row and make it perfect, or heart surgery and all that? It's anal. There is no way anybody else can do it. It has to be anal vector. A person who takes his time, who is very perfectionist, he wants to do it perfectly. That otherwise we wouldn't survive. Wouldn't be any doctors, professors, teachers. It's also the same. So we need that. So anyway, I went a little bit far from urethral, but that's the leader in the tribe. The colors, I'm gonna also talk in another video. Every vector has its geometrical figure that are associated to its character. And for example, triangle with the top, with the triangle, it's for urethral geometrical figure because it kind of moves forward. But I'm gonna talk about that in another video. Color, it's also red, because and also its liquids of that vector are different than everybody else in the tribe. He was making sure, if you know how wild animals like wolves, how they have their borders and how they mark their territory, how they do that. The same thing was doing urethral vector. Same thing as those animals. And the other liquid semen, it's the one who has to that we say he needs to make sure that we're gonna survive, and every woman could get pregnant. So his blood in his body even runs faster than in other vectors. So when adrenaline throws it into the blood, it also absorbs and kind of moves faster. So sometimes those people like fearless, but they kind of control, and they can stay in control better than other vectors. They can control their emotions, their actions. We need that as a leader as well, because it was very important. And I'm gonna talk in another video. I'm already running out of time, so I'll talk about urethra in another video. Stay tuned, guys. See you next one.